Hello, it's Thursday. So a little while ago now, only a couple of weeks, I had to reorganize my desk in order to attach some new lights for myself. But in doing so, it means that I've had to put this giant rack right in the middle of my desk. And I've kind of done my best to make sure that it's looking at least relatively interesting. However, I think that what we have in front of us is the perfect opportunity to use this lower shelf here. So there's a dragon in the way at the moment, but to use this lower shelf, turn it into a fish tank. So the way I see it, we could take advantage of the nice wire rackiness of it. Like, it's a nice box with grating on the top and on the bottom. So I can't think of a more perfect setup to lay the foundation for a crochet fish tank. Okay, so the plan is we have our rectangle grid. You're actually currently sitting inside the fish tank, so enjoy this camera angle while we've got it, because we won't have it after today. And I think it's really important that we are able to view from the front, the back, and at least one side. So it's not quite 360 degrees, but like, we need to be able to like have something to look at. I don't want it to have a clear back. And I'm sure you've all seen the same examples online that I've seen, and we just basically want to like fill this with some crochet rocks to start with. We want at least one little fishy. Like, the whole point of this is that it's a fish tank, not just a tank. So we'll put a little fishy friend in the mix. Tiny fish. We'll need some like planty type stuff, which we can use the racks on the top and the bottom to help like mount and give some stability. We're going to want some corals. And I have played around with some of these shapes before, so I'm feeling fairly well prepared to translate them into like a more three-dimensional form, but we'll see how we go with it. Maybe like a little sea urchin down here. None of this is going to make any kind of logical ecosystem sense because I just don't know enough on the subject. I don't know how many fish we're going to do today. My goal is going to be one fish and to have that fish living his best life. Now, I know I normally stick with crochet, but for today, I'm going to give myself permission to use anything else that I can find in my craft room. I'm not going to go shopping for anything new, but I've got wire, I have beads, I have bits and pieces and bobs and stuff that I'm going to just allow myself to use all of it to try and assemble the coolest possible fish tank that we can get. Okay, so I've done a little plant exploration here and a little bit of the rock exploration here. I think colors are going to be really fundamental in making everything look okay, but I am okay to go with a fish tank that has been assembled as opposed to one that exists in nature. I've got my expectations set medium. So I think I'm off to a pretty solid start, but having like thought about all of those shapes, the thing that I really want to make is the star of the tank. So I think the first piece we're actually going to start producing today is going to be our little fish friend. And I'm not planning on going too like fancy with this. I think he just needs to be a perfect chubby little goldfish, if I'm honest. Because goldfish are really fascinating because of the different textures they have. Plus, I mean, the fact that most of us have some memory of a pet goldfish at some point. I just think that that hits kind of close to home. Please forgive me if I'm not getting the fins quite right. I am drawing a goldfish from memory. Because I do love me a fat-bellied goldfish. Okay, so there is our little fish. Just got to make him now. All right, so I had a really long think about it, and I've made what I think might be a really confusing choice. But I'm going to ask you to trust the process, and I'm going to make my fish out of this, I think it's called sun gold and black. Now, I know only sad fish are black, but high contrast fish are also black. So he's high contrast, not sad. Yeah, I just think I've got plans and you guys will see, you'll see. So I'm just going to use the first couple of rows to leave myself a bit of a guide as to where to build the lips later. I'm going to try and be braver today about using embroidery and that kind of thing, rather than just trying to accomplish everything through crochet. It can do it all, but that doesn't mean it should have to. And he wouldn't be a proper guppy without a little mouth. And he does need to be a sizable little lad, but also not too big. We want to make sure he has plenty of room to swim. Blop, blop. I'm trying to be brave, and I'm afraid that my courage is deserting me a little bit. I'm chickening out when it comes to the black. It will provide more contrast with one of the plans that I have, but I'm worried it's just going to engulf the whole fishy. And technically I could just make him all in this colour. Or we could just give him like a black splodge. I'm not doing colour changes today. Do I be a chicken or do I trust the process? I think I need to find a happy mid-ground. So yeah, we'll be a chicken who trusts the process. Did I really say I wasn't going to do colour changes today? What I meant was that I wasn't going to do like prescribed colour markings. Not that I wasn't going to change colours 26 times this row. Because yeah, why wouldn't I change colour 26 times in one row? Nope, I'm not doing it. We have formally chickened out of using the black for this. Forget tuna, I am the real chicken of the sea. Okay, well there's your handle. Now we just need to make your spout. Blub, 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 blub. We need some stuffing for the little stuffing. That's the sound Benjamin makes. He's on wheels now. There we are. Very basic little fish nugget. We've got a little bit of inlaid structure for where we can build a mouth. The eyes are not attached. That's intentional because I want to give them a little bit of extra something. But here's a good little shape. And I think he's going to fit in there just nicely. He looks really small in this space right now. But he's going to get bigger. And then maybe he'll be on our side. Okay, so we have accomplished, I'm very overexposed there, but it's fine. We have accomplished our fish nugget. And I've also just had a little bit of a rummage for stuff we can use for this project. So do you want to see? First of all, I have found beads, which are going to be my main plan for ornamenting our fish. Don't look so surprised, buddy. We're going to make you look pretty. I found some ooh, they're a little bit more tame than that in person, but like some warm yellow LED lights that have some potential. I found a spool of wire. I found some rocks, forbidden Mentos. And I found some bigger, chunkier yarn, which is just going to help fill the space for us a little bit more when we get there. And a croissant type shape that I've already made out of that yarn. And who's to say that all of the shapes had to be made new today? That doesn't have a purpose. I don't remember what it was for. Rock. Perfect. So I think the next logical thing for us to be doing is working on finishing off the fish. The base is cute, but it's just a base at the moment. And what I'm thinking is I have all of these like polymer clay beads, and these are seed beads, which are very nice and vibrant. I'm thinking we could take all of these little beads and make him into a real goldfish, like an actual shiny one. So maybe you'll be able to see what I was originally going to do with the black. I chickened out of using the black yarn. I chickened out. That's what happened. But I think that there's plenty of room here for the scales still to pop really nicely, and we could use the little round ones. Or I have, as mentioned, the little seed beads. And I I think that we could just really make him stunning, but not a mullet, not a stunned mullet. So I'm thinking these could be useful to filling in the gaps, but I think these ones here are going to be our main scales. And bear with me. I'm once again refusing to look up tutorials, so I'm just going to have to see how we go. First I have to work out what kind of layout I want from them. I know I want this whole body section covered though. Because I don't know when I will run out of any particular type of bead, I'm going to try and work as symmetrically as possible. So like working down the main spine and then the belly, and then just like filling in the gaps with mottled whatever's left, really. I do love these little hexagons though. Interlock really nicely. They've got some good tessellation happening here. And I'd love to use them for the whole fish, but it's not enough. Okay, who wants to come to my house? Don't come to my house. All right, who wants to sew all these on for me? Can't possibly take as long as I think it's going to take. Let's time it and see. Yep, it's taken roughly as long as I thought it would. Yeah, seems about right. But oh, it's pretty. So I need to just work out some fins, need to work some eyes, just a whole lot more details for him. Okay, so welcome back to day 2 of my one-day project. I have, of course, finished beading up our little fish and adding some eyeballs and the lip detail there. Look how pretty that looks. But yeah, the scope creep has kind of sunk its teeth in, and so we need to kind of reconceptualize the next 2 stages of this project, because this is stage 1 done. So from here, there's kind of 2 main things that need to be done. First up, we need to set up the main structure of the tank, and then second of all, we'll need to decorate it. And I'm going to focus on the structure first, because it's kind of something I'm pretty excited about. At least I'm excited to give it a try. So basically, I kind of want to see if I can make a little fish who does need a name. Feel free to help me name him in the comment section. If we can make him swim, like incorporate some sort of moving element, because that's just what we need when we're running this behind. But he's a very special boy and he deserves it. So here's what I'm thinking. We take some armature wire and use that to like create a path across the top of the tank. Now this can only really be anchored at both ends because we have to be able to like run the full length of it with our fish, so it has to be fairly self-supporting. Okay, so that is my path. You can see that okay. Got a nice little air spend. Okay, good, good. Then, assuming that works, I need to create a little like dangly mechanism for our fish. And so that needs to be like a loop that can run along that piece of wire, as well as a little strand. And with this strand, I don't think there's much I can do to make it invisible because I just don't have the supplies. I'm still focusing on just what we have in the room here. So I'm thinking we're going to take a few more of our beads and make it kind of like a pretty blue strand. So at least it represents water. So I think that's going to work. I tried to do a little bit of a, like a not direct ombre, but just tried to vary the colors a little bit. I think that worked out quite well. Onto the ring with you. Okay, that's one heck of an earring. Okay. So far, so good. In general, he's pretty happy where he is right now. You come to say hello, buddy. And he can like chuff off down the wire and be over there instead. And that's already kind of, we could leave it there if we wanted to, but there's just one final element that I want to introduce. I'm going to attach some string to our fish and try and use a pulley to make it so that we can like wind something at the end of the shelf and pull our fish one way or the other to give him the impression of swimming. And we're going to try and keep the shapes pretty basic for now. Basic movement is good enough for me at this point. Beat up old tube. Tube! Okay, so here's my tube. It's a little beat up, but we do love to recycle bits and pieces around here. And this is going to go here and provide like the winding mechanism. String again. Just because it's got not a lot of stretch, if any. Two nice long pieces. And I'm going to tie each end of this to the fish loop and then wrap the other end around our tube. It's moving. Right, so I have one string here that should bring Fishy back towards us. At least up to a certain point. And then I have one strand here that should take him further away. Okay, it's not perfect, but it works pretty good. So now the trick is to wrap each of the ends of the string a different way around our tube so that like the tube can control them both at the same time. So there's some like push and pull, if that makes sense. Right, we have procured tape. I can't believe we got him to actually swim. That's amazing. I'm very pleased with myself. Don't get me wrong. It's a little on the messy side. It's not perfect. There's definitely room for improvement here. For example, this is a cardboard roll held up by an old yarn label. But the movement is sound. In the interest of giving him just somewhere nice to live for today, because we can always revisit this later, I just want to block out just a few basic decorations here. So I think I'm going to start by I have a bunch of these weights and I think they'll look just right as the floor for the aquarium. So I'm going to put those in there and then I'll just grab them as I need for projects. So far, so good. We have the original canvas that we did that helped inspire this, which I don't want to leave him in there all by himself. So let's chuck that up against the back wall so that it has a little life to it. Okay, because it just fits so nicely on the end there. I do wish I had something bigger that I could put in place, but I don't think I do. All right, so that's an okay start. I'm definitely not going to have time to do all of the various bits of coral and stuff that I was planning on today, but having just that little bit at the end, I think helps him feel a little less lonely. And I'm just going to stop and I'm just going to make a few like strands of some sort of like fancy seagrass. I'm thinking about doing this one here, maybe a few little pom-poms too. Just keep it simple. And just giving him a little bit of greenery to play with, and that's probably where we'll leave it for today. Okay, so I ended up going with pom-poms just because I feel like a really fun way to fill a lot of area quickly. And I didn't want him to be all alone in there. Okay, and that is where we are going to leave it. I'm okay. That is where we're going to leave it for today. Hopefully nothing broke just then. That was just a bit of backing that I put up so that you could see our little fish friend better. He swims, kind of, and his tank is kind of decorated, but it just means we'll have to come back and do a part 2 sometime next year. For now, I think he is quite happy in his little tank. He does swim, kind of. Tell you what, I promised to get Mr. Bones involved with the mechanism next time, but for now I just had fun working it out for myself. In any case, that's it for this week, and I will see you in a couple of days for the start of the 12 days of crochet. So yeah, bye!